Distortions of miracle impulses. That's what we're going to be talking about today. Hello, this is Nicole Witt, your miracle mentor, and I am going to be reading and commenting on A Course in Miracles. We are on Chapter 1, Section 7, Distortions of Miracle Impulses. Your distorted perceptions produce a dense cover over miracle impulses, making it hard for them to reach your own awareness. The confusion of miracle impulses with physical impulses is a major perceptual distortion. Physical impulses are misdirected miracle impulses. All real pleasure comes from doing God's will. This is because not doing it is a denial of self. Denial of self results in illusions, while correction of the error brings release from it. Do not deceive yourself into believing that you can relate in peace to God or to your brothers with anything external. Okay? Again, it's this reminding, like, we can only relate in reality, right? Internally. It has nothing to do with the body. It has nothing to do with anything outside of us. So when we have this impulse for a miracle, this impulse of joining with the truth, and we can distort that and think that it means joining bodies, doing something physically. It's always about that inner joining. Child of God, you are created to create the good, the beautiful, and the holy. Do not forget this. The love of God, for a little while, must still be expressed through one body to another, because vision is still so dim. You can use your body best to help you enlarge your perception so you can achieve real vision, of which the physical eye is incapable. Learning to do this is the body's only true usefulness. So again, this idea that body can be useful to us only as it's helping us to awaken. We can use it to learn our lessons and to start to see things differently. Fantasy is a distorted form of vision. Fantasies of any kind are distortions because they always involve twisting perception into unreality. So what is a fantasy? Okay, it's any time we're basically making up a story in our head, right? Playing a little movie in our head and daydreaming, having a fantasy about someone, just playing out a scene and getting lost in it. Now, isn't that ironic, right? Because that's actually, this whole thing is a fantasy, it's our dream. So, but we can have, even within the big dream fantasy where we've made up all this stuff and we're just living it out as we see fit to write our script or to follow the script, but we can also, inside of that dream, have another dream and have fantasy. Just like we have nighttime dreams, fantasies are kind of like the daydreaming we do when we're supposedly awake. Actions that stem from distortions are literally the reactions of those who know not what they do. Fantasy is an attempt to control reality according to false needs. Twist reality in any way and you are perceiving destructively. Fantasies are a means of making false associations and attempting to obtain pleasure from them. But although you can perceive false associations, you can never make them real except to yourself. You believe in what you make. If you offer miracles, you will be equally strong in your belief in them. The strength of your conviction will then sustain the belief of the miracle receiver. Okay, so not only by doing miracles, we gain this conviction that, hey, this is real. I've experienced what he's talking about. This is real. And now we have conviction that I know that it's real and that I can get my way back there, right? It can be done. I can do it. And that conviction now also helps the miracle receiver, because I have such conviction, I have such belief that is basically enveloping them, right? Okay, where am I? The strength of your conviction will then sustain the belief of the miracle receiver. Fantasies become totally unnecessary as the wholly satisfying nature of reality becomes apparent to both giver and receiver. Reality is lost through usurpation, which produces tyranny. As long as a single slave remains to walk the earth, your release is not complete. Complete restoration of the sonship is the only goal of the miracle-minded. Okay, so when one of us goes home, we all go home together. We are one. So that is our only goal. And so when we can be miracle-minded, that helps other people understand they can be miracle-minded, and so on and so on and so on. Just like that shampoo commercial from the 70s, if you're old enough to remember that. This is a course in mind training. All learning involves attention and study at some level. Some of the later parts of the course rest too heavily on these earlier sections not to require their careful study. You will also need them for preparation. Without this, you may become much too fearful of what is to come to make constructive use of it. However, as you study these earlier sections, you will begin to see some of the implications that will be amplified later on. So he's really saying, this is the beginning. We're studying that foundation. Pay attention. This is really important. It's going to help you later. And the last paragraph. A solid foundation is necessary because of the confusion between fear and awe to which I have already referred and which is often made. I have said that awe is inappropriate in connection with the sons of God because you should not experience awe in the presence of your equals. However, it was also emphasized that awe is proper in the presence of your Creator. I have been careful to clarify my role in the atonement without either over or understating it. I am also trying to do the same with yours. I have stressed that awe is not an appropriate reaction to me because of our inherent equality. Some of the later steps in this course, however, involve a more direct approach to God Himself. It would be unwise to start on these steps without careful preparation, or awe will be confused with fear, and the experience will be more traumatic than beatific. Healing is of God in the end. The means are being carefully explained to you. Revelation may occasionally reveal the end to you, but to reach it, the means are needed. Okay, so he's really being a good teacher here, right? He's doing the what is to come at the beginning of the lesson. Like, this is all really important. This is the foundation. Pay attention, understand. Or when we get to the parts where where he's saying, I'm going to kind of hand you off to your direct experience with God, fear will come in because you will now confuse awe with fear. Because if you're in awe of your equals, like Jesus here, he's saying, if you are in awe of me, then when we get to that direct experience with God, it's going to be such a shocking experience because you will think you've already had on here something more and bigger and scary. It's going to be called being scary. So that's why he's saying, like, reserve the awe for God, because that's where it goes. And if you know that and you know it as a beautiful experience and something that you want, revelation, it won't scare you. Okay? So he's just being a really good teacher, telling us how to get the most out of this course as we go into chapter 2, which will start in the next video. So I love you. Have a great day. Goodbye.